It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer from Brewdog and it's a bottle of their pale ale. It's coming in at 4.2% ABV in a 330 milliliter bottle. There's a look at the label. Brewed in Elland in Scotland. There's the bottle cap. Oh, Brewdog's new label, by the way. I think I preferred it to the old one, if I'm perfectly honest. The reason why is because the old label was sideways, and that would suggest that you need to lay your beer down to age it. But when you're drinking something hoppy, you want it standing up and drinking fresh. You don't want to be aging a New England IPA or something like that. But yeah, I quite... Big letters on the top, Brewdog, tells you what it is, pale ale, nice and simple, as long as the beer tastes okay. I don't think that is too bad, if I'm honest. I know there's a massive reaction on social media when they changed their label. I think they've gone back with the dog on the... I like the little dog is back a little bit more prominent, back to the old kind of Brewdog label from before. From 2013 or 14, before they changed it. Right, here we go. Brewdog Pale Ale. These are my own individual thoughts. I've read some stuff on social media. I know there's YouTube videos out there where people are not overly fussed of the beer, but I will give you my 100% honest opinion of what I think of the beer. So straight away, for a pale ale at 4.2% ABV, I'm really interested to get this last drop of beer into the glass because I want to see if there's any sediment at all. I think for a brewer of Brewdog's caliber, I think there should be a little bit of unfiltered goodness, you know. And we've got a 2-finger whitehead, amber in the colour, nice slow moving carbonation. Let's get the aroma. I think they've got something wrong. They've done something really wrong. Oh my goodness me. This is... Oh, I need to be a little bit... Oh. It's very malty. Very malty. Massively malty. There's no hop character, there's no hop aroma here at all. Just wondering if a mistake has been made, if they've... Maybe they've visited one of those breweries, you know, the big large breweries that brew in giant vessels, and you get the head brewer, he's like waving a hop over the top of the fermenter or the mash tun or the boiling kettle, just waving it, just that's enough, one hop for 1 billion litres of beer. There is no hop aroma to this beer at all, it's just malt. It smells like big beer. And I could stand and rant and rave and shout and scream and... like I used to do, but I've just seen the deterioration of Brewdog over the years, and this is beyond acceptable. Let's dive into this malt bomb of a beer. That is... I don't think anymore. I think the shares of the owners, the original 2 owners who make their show, oh, and try to upload it to YouTube as well. and they made a massive clanger. But I just didn't want to tell them. You know, these people, they try to sell you this for £5 a month. They try to sell you this Brewdog network show thing, behind the wall, closed up paywall, behind a paywall. They wanted £5 a month for this show, and then in the end, of course, it didn't work. So they put it on YouTube, and then they made a massive mistake when they uploaded it to YouTube. As I mentioned, I'm not going to tell them why. Because in that space, that area, they're my competition. So I'm not going to tell them the massive clanger, the massive novice, stupid thing they did when they uploaded their whole series to YouTube. I'm not going to bother mentioning that. This is bonkersly bad. If this was 5 years ago, I would rage. But you're not allowed to rage on YouTube anymore. They tend to like demonetize your videos if you start ranting and raving. So I won't rant and rave. I'll stand with my eyes slightly angry and stare at the camera. More than angry. I could boil the way I'm feeling about this beer inside. I'm sure I am. I'm raging inside. I'm absolutely fuming. But it's not my brewery. It's not my money. It's not my reputation. It's got nothing to do with me. Why am I raging? Why am I so et up about this? You know my story. You know that I was the first person to post a punk IPA video to YouTube, and you can see how hazy and fantastic that beer is. That review will be there for the test of time. It'll be there forever to show people what Brewdog used to be 10 years ago when they first started producing. When I first started drinking their beer, it was terrific. Absolutely fantastic. I think what's happened is that they started selling shares in the company, and then secretly, I think, I don't know, like Coors were probably coming in through the back door, buying shares through somebody, through like a, I don't know, like a nameless person was buying the shares, but really Coors were buying the shares. And they were laughing and giggling and we're going to ruin you, Brewdog. And then they kept on issuing shares, Brewdog, and Molson Coors probably still bought the shares and bought more of the shares and bought more of the shares until one day they came out of the closet and they came out and they went, we own 52% of your company now. It's time to make some bland rubbish. And then, of course, Mr. Watt and Mr. Dickey, they don't have a leg to stand on, do they? They've watered down. They must have watered down their company that much. I mean, I did a review of that awful indie beer. I can't remember the name of it. Indie Pale Ale, was it? And they made the excuse that they went off for Christmas for 2 weeks and they wanted a bit of a Christmas off, and they took their eyes off the wheel for 2 weeks. And you look at Indie Pale Ale now and there's no better. This is even worse. This is even worse. This is diabolical. This is one of the worst. Well, this, I don't know, it's either Indie Pale Ale or this Pale Ale is the worst beer that I've ever produced. I've ever reviewed on YouTube for Brewdog. Not for Brewdog. They haven't sent me any beer. I bought this myself in Tesco's today. But normally when you see a rebrand, that's what it normally means. A rebrand is never a good thing. Let's have a look at where do I put them? Here, for example. It's not a rebrand, but it's using a name that's familiar to people. Maltesers, yeah? You might all giggle, oh, Maltesers, you know, he's reviewing Maltesers. But Maltesers, when I was a kid, Maltesers were a good old heavy bag of sweets. And then they changed things. They make Button's versions of Maltesers, but all they're doing is, in the food market anyway, they're lowering the grammage. That's 93 grams of chocolate. I mean, that's a bar of chocolate, but they were £1. They were £1 a bag. So a rebrand, when they generally bring out something new or they have a rebrand or something, it's never a good thing. It means that the product has taken a dive, a turn for the worst, if you say. It's all in, I think they're trying to sell it to the Chinese or the Japanese or somewhere in Asia. It's no problem. And there's nothing. There's none of the old Brewdog. There's none of the old Brewdogness. Where's the tank? Where's the tank, James? Where's the attitude that you used to have? Eh? Where's it all gone? A stone cold slayer. Yeah, a stone cold slayer of yourself. I think the brand's ruined. I don't think there's any coming back. Although it's amazing, really, because they brew different. I mean, they're still able to do it. I bet you, right? They've done this collaboration. I've got 2 beers now coming up from Brewdog. They were just launched in Tesco. I bet they're fantastic because they can still do it. This is their OG Hazy coming up to the channel soon. A New England IPA at 7.2%, and this is their future-proof West Coast IPA, Brewdog versus Modern Times. Look out for these beers on the channel, they'll be up soon. If you're watching in the future, they're already up on YouTube, have a watch of them. But they seem to have different grades, different... they got Modern Times involved. I think Modern Times have been bought up by one of them massive conglomerates as well, so maybe it won't be that good, but... I don't know, I've gone past screaming, shouting, tearing my hair out. I've gone past the crazy ex-wife stage, basically, with Brewdog. I've got to the stage now where I just don't care. I just really don't care what they were. They were fantastic. They were brilliant. I love the attitude. I love the way they were. They were going to stick it to big beer. And unfortunately, they've just become big beer. Big beers snuck up and bought little bits of their shares, Now they own a majority stake. And now big beer. This is big. Look at it. It's big beer. No aroma of hops. Absolute shambles of a beer. That's a 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. There's no off flavours. It's not sour. There's no cabbage flavours. There's no problems with the beer. It's just what Brewdog used to produce years ago is in here, in my mind. I know what they used to produce. I know what they're capable of brewing. Can you imagine being stuck on an aeroplane, one of their Brewdog planes, stuck drinking this for 12 hours? You'd be looking to jump off. 1 out of 10 compared to any of the beers Brewdog produced. And it's just funny because 4 months ago I reviewed a stout from Brewdog and I said this is the best beer the Brewdog have ever produced. And then they go and brew this, and then I go and review their Overworks, their Cosmic Blast thing, Cherry, whatever it's called. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Really good. And then this diabolical beer. 1 out of 10. Thanks for watching. Put your comments in the comments box. Please subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.